Podcast Evolved, your home for Halo.
Welcome, Spartans, to Podcast Evolved, your home for Halo. I'm your host, Aaron, and with me today we've got David.
Hello, everybody.
And we're doing a very special show for you today with something a little bit different. We're interviewing a guest.
Ooh.
Yes, we have tricked someone into joining us in the show to be interviewed this week. As you may have noticed, we uploaded recently episode 250, big milestone, and with episode 250 we revamped our art for the podcast. If you've paid some attention, you may have seen some of our art before. It's done by the very lovely Quint. Say hello to everyone, Quint.
Hello there. You have indeed tricked me.
Yes. we like to not tell anyone too much and just get them here, and then it's like, yep, you're on the show.
Yeah, but there's a blindfold involved, and I'm very scared.
It's alright, we're nice people, really. If you've noticed this last while, Quint has done quite a few bits of art for us. You would be our... what would be the term? Resident Patreon artist now? Would that sound about...
Yeah, that sounds official. Let's go with that.
Yeah, you've done some very beautiful art for us now so far. So I think we'll start off with a little quick introduction to tell us a little bit about yourself, as much as you feel like sharing with our lovely Ravenous Halo fans. Who are you? Where are you from?
Yeah, hi, I'm Quint. I'm a artist from England. I went to uni and did game art, where I did a lot of concept artwork and some 3D stuff. And like a lot of people probably listening, I ended up there because of Halo, because of my pure love of this silly franchise that we all enjoy so much. It really shaped my life, and I always knew I wanted to go into art, but Halo was the thing where I was like, art and video games. Like, Halo was the thing that made it all click. Yeah, being able to do Halo art for you guys is awesome, because it's like, yay! Well, one of my longer term goals is I'd love to see my name in the credits of a Halo game at some point.
That's class.
Being able to do Halo art is awesome.
Now, seeing as Halo's what's brought us all here, we ask the typical question to every guest. How did you get into Halo? Did you join it from the ground on day one, or was it a later thing for you?
Are you old, Chris? How old are you? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, so I don't like to think about it. I'm 25.
All you had to say was Halo CE. We could age you by your game. We would know, Chris. We would know.
Okay, so I actually started with Halo 3.
Oh, yeah.
I know, now I'm a filthy heretic. But yeah, so my first game was Halo 3. And so my when I was a lot younger, my PlayStation 2 broke, rest in peace. And as a replacement back Christmas, my dad went out and bought me an Xbox 360.
Nice.
And he bought me an Xbox 360, and he bought me Lego Star Wars with it, which was class. And it came bundled with this free game called Halo 3. And I took one look at the cover and went, well, that looks stupid. I don't want to play that.
I'm going to play Lego.
Yeah, exactly. So I threw Halo 3 in a pile, and there it sat for probably about 3 months while I just played Lego Star Wars straight. And I don't know why. One day, I guess I just decided to pick up Halo 3 and try it out. And it was the first time I'd ever really played a FPS. Like, I played, Star Wars Battlefront on the PlayStation 2, but that was kind of, the closest thing I'd done to an FPS at that point. And yeah, it completely blew my mind. It changed what a video game could be for me. Suddenly there was a wider world around the game, and a frame that is burned into my mind is in the first level of Halo 3, where Johnson is retreating over the bridge away from the brutes, calling them damn dirty apes, which is great. And I just remember looking at a grunt and going, "What is this thing?" and being so enraptured by the whole thing. It was all amazing, and it was all new, and it was all shiny, and I loved it. And from there, I was like, I wanted to know what the story of the games was, because I got super into that. So my dad actually bought me the books.
Oh, I like this dad fellow. He's doing things right.
yeah, he was on it. And we actually read The Fall of Reach together, which is why that book has such a special place in my heart. And then I read The Flood and First Strike, and eventually played Halo 2 on my crappy, awful laptop at the time. And yeah, I was the Halo kid in school. I just loved it, and I just absorbed every bit of Halo information I could get my hands on. And again, I was like, I know what I want to do with my life now. I want to work on that. So it really did change the direction of my life.
That's awesome. That's a very familiar tale of the Halo sickness taking hold in most people. I'm something similar to yourself. I got into it sort of later on. It was before Halo 3 came out, but it was one of those things where I came to it late, got a book, got into it, and just went, I need all of this.
Yes.
And now, many years later, we're still doing this podcast, and people still listen to us. It's terrifying.
It holds such a special place in people's hearts. Nothing will get in Halo's way. I'm scared for Infinite. That's going to be a big game. It's going to be a very, very big game.
It is. Did you get a chance to play the technical flight at all?
This is where I tell my sob story. I did get into the flight, and I was very excited. And then I was one of the about 4 people who were hit with the bug where I could not access matchmaking.
Oh no.
Ian from Halo Canon had this same bug.
Balls.
Where, yeah, every time I pressed join matchmaking, it would go to a black screen and kick me back to the menu. So I had to watch, and it never worked. Well, I would try it multiple times a day, and it never worked once.
That's crushing. Oh.
It was. I did get to go to the firing range and just fire the weapons though, so I spent about 4 hours in there with the sniper rifle, sobbing.
I don't know if that's worse.
I think it is. They were like, you can have a little taste, but you can't actually play.
Such a tantalizing tease of everything, and then to be, oh no.
It was brutal. What I will say is, damn, does that game feel good to play. Really, really good. The sniper rifle might be my favourite weapon I've ever used in a video game, in Infinite. It feels like you're walking around with an anti-air gun. It sounds terrifying. It's awesome.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Big fan.
I'm terrible with it, so I typically avoid it, but no. Without rubbing it in, it did play very well, that's all I'd say. Bots are much more terrifying than you're prepared for. I suppose this conversation leads us nicely into Halo art specifically. Now, I'm going to have to go back into the depths of my memory here. I do believe we came across your art in a community update from 343. I believe that was the first time we saw your art. It was a piece you drew for Silent Storm?
Yeah, okay, yes, I know it, yes. It was a scene from... Is it Silent Storm?
I think Silent Storm, it's the maglev tube up the mountain.
Yeah, that's the one.
We saw that, and we were very impressed with it, and Ian decided he would pursue you online and get in touch. And that has so far started a rather, I'd say, high-quality relationship with you at the minute. We have some beautiful art that you've made for us.
Halo art's fun. Halo art is, obviously just super passionate, so it's always a joy to be able to paint some Halo.
So we've had 2 custom pieces so far that you've done for us that have gone over very well with the patrons. We have Oh, which order did we get these in? We got the first one is the Gravelift scene from the end of Silent Storm.
Yes, with Chief and the ODSTs.
Was that your first time being in one of those community spotlights?
I'm a terrible person. I don't I don't know. I don't know. I'm a terrible Halo fan, I guess. I don't.
That's perfectly fine. I probably wouldn't be paying that much attention to the community updates if we weren't doing a podcast about Halo. So I'll tell you that much. Otherwise, I'm like, oh great, people are doing art stuff and they're doing nice, and people are getting tattoos and doing crazy shit. Good for those guys. You go make your stuff.
Yeah, I have to say, it is something about the Halo community. I think it really draws out a lot of passion in a lot of artistic folks. Like when you go through those updates, like seeing your work and others, you think there are a lot of really talented people out there drawing Halo stuff. It's very impressive to see, because I feel like you see it with some franchises, but you don't see it with too many. I feel like you don't see an awful lot of high-end Gears of War art. It doesn't quite resonate the same way with people, I feel. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think for starters, 343 do a great job of showing off the art and like drawing attention to it, which is great. And they do a great job of showing everyone from beginner artists to actual professional artists, and that drives a lot of passion and drives a lot of people to keep producing the art and getting better and better, which I think a lot of companies don't necessarily do that. But I also think Halo's just so full of memories, whether it's the incredible music, or actually playing the games, or reading the books, or playing custom games with your mates. It's one of those games that just has a special place in people's hearts, and that is always going to draw up an emotional response, which I think lends itself to producing artwork, or music, or podcasts, whatever it may be about that thing. I don't think there's too many other franchises that have really captured that have been around consistently for that long.
Yeah, I feel like you're into Final Fantasy territory at that stage. It's usually that or big Nintendo stuff, things that have been around for decades and people have grown up with them.
I mean, like, yeah, you look at something like Doom, which I think is a pretty close analogue, but again, that had, like a 20-year break, really, between the big ones. Halo's just been so consistent. It's always kept the community going.
Now, something I want to ask you about, because typically, apart from the patrons, no one really gets to see this side of it. I'm curious what your process is for doing like a commissioned piece of art, like the two we've got for you so far, from our initial pitch of what the design is, which if you're a patron, you'll know that we put a few suggestions out. Well, we ask you guys for suggestions, then you vote for the winner, and then we inflict that design on Quint, and then he has to go and produce something for us, which I don't know how you do it, because I look at it and go, how did you get from design to this? But so that's really what I want to just see, is what your process is and what's actually involved in turning out a piece of art like that.
So I look at what everyone wants, and I spend about 3 days crying. I then will open Photoshop, stock up on Red Bull, and just start firing out sketches as quickly as I can. And it's pretty much stick figures at that phase. It's just trying to find a composition that works. A lot of it is really hard, because when you're doing like a scene from a books, you want a focal point, and all of the time the characters are drawn from the back, I find. And it's like, how do you make Chief look awesome from the back? So it's loads and loads of sketches of trying to get to a place where I'm happy with it, and where, people are going to see something other than Chief's back, is a lot of it. And then it's just looking at a lot of reference. Luckily, Halo has a ton of art, and for Silent Storm, we could see his helmet quite clearly on the book cover, but we also had a whole comic issue where he was using that armor. So, looking at all the comics and then just trying to take that further and just building up over the next couple of weeks until a final picture is formed, and then just constantly updating you guys and seeing if there's any changes in direction that people would like. Once the sketch is down, it's a pretty straightforward process. It just takes time.
Yeah, generally we would end up contacting pretty early when we know we need something, because obviously it takes time to make Genius.
It's nice with Halo because you also have a lot of great hype-up soundtracks to put on in the back while you're working, so that makes it easier.
Would you draw Halo for fun, or is it just a case of when you need to?
It's hard these days finding the time to draw for fun.
Right.
Like because I do art stuff for work. It's also like when I'm done working, I'm like I don't want to draw. I need to recharge. Like which is unfortunate because I'd like to do a lot more Halo art, but it's just the fact that I only have so much drawing batteries. I see some people can just they finish work and they keep on drawing, and I'm like, I don't know how you have the energy for that. I don't understand it. I'm a zombie once I'm done.
We'll keep torturing you for art in the meantime.
There you go. There, force me to do Halo stuff. That's good.
We very much appreciate it. Like we said, you revamped our art for 250, which is we've had that artwork now for David. How long have we had the new website?
A couple of years. I think that's Miles did that for us back in the day, didn't he? He's been a couple of years. That's been our art.
We revamped the website, and that was our oldest art. And we were like, we tortured you, and you produced some really nice art.
Was that easier or harder? Because we had obviously given you our previous stuff, and obviously it's someone else's artwork, and we had said, "Hey, do this, but not this again, please."
That was such a fun one. I would say that was easier, but it's also there was a lot more pressure on it because it was like I could screw something up, right? What you had was great, so it's like I could make this worse. While I had a really good base to work off, I was like, let's not ruin this. It was really fun. If you notice, I literally colour picked from the original, and just using those same colours, you immediately know that it's the same brand and same identifying features. And I did that on purpose because if you're scrolling through Twitter and you see that colour palette, you immediately know what tweet this is, and you can immediately recognise that. But it still has, that pizzazz, and again, it's based off Infinite armor, so immediately it just looks more up to date with where Halo's at.
It's so cool. I actually use the old Master Chief helmet just by itself as my work icon in Teams. So I'm always looking at it every day when it pops up, and I don't use my camera, which is often. So I'm going to update it with the new one. So you should know that I'll be attending all my work calls with your art. So that's cool.
Oh, amazing.
I suppose when we're talking about it updated, that leads us into why we got it updated, because we're in the run-up to Infinite. We will finish with our big question, which we ask all of our guests at the minute is, on a scale of 1 to hyped, are you excited, terrified, nervous? You've said a little bit already. How are you feeling about Infinite?
So before the flight, I was excited but skeptical. Tried to keep my expectations in check. But having played the very limited amount of what I could, and just seeing the actual gameplay and seeing how a lot of the systems work, I'm pretty hyped. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm mainly a campaign story guy. I'm pretty excited about the direction of a story that seems to be happening from the 2 seconds we've seen of it, but I'm pretty happy with that. They seem to have done the impossible and reinvigorated my interest in the franchise, which, go 343, they're killing it right now. They really are. They're just, everything they do seems to be gold with it. So I'm a happy guy. I'm really excited. I'm scared to see that's the number of players on Steam on day one, because it is going to be pretty huge. I think it's going to be scarily big. So I think it's going to do very well.
It's free on Steam too, right? Like the multiplayer side of it?
Yeah, I think the multiplayer is free, right? So
it's going to be free everywhere, which I think, well, on PC especially, I think you kind of have to go that way, or it's got to be free, or it's just not going to be as popular. So there's too many big free multiplayer offerings these days to compete with. Personally, I'm going to cherish this moment because this is a rare time when almost the entire Halo community is pleased and on the same page, and it's been a truly magical time.
I don't know how they've done it. To see the entire community happy about Sprint, I was like, we've suddenly crossed into like the good timeline somehow. They've done it. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully an announcement for the multiplayer flight next, and with any luck you won't suffer any horrible bugs this time.
I hope that bug's fixed. That was a doozy.
Yeah, there would be levels of upset I don't think I can say out loud with that. We'll have to cross our fingers for you on the next one. Right, I think before we wrap up, because we promised we wouldn't keep you too long today, would you like to pimp your stuff to the good members of the audience? Would you like to tell them where they can find you, where they can find your stuff?
Only if you want to be found now. That's, you don't have to be.
Oh, that's true. I could go into hiding. You can find me at Quint Says on Twitter. I do Halo art commissions, whether that's environments or characters, various styles. My prices are in my pinned tweets. Other than that, I don't go on social media. It's terrifying. It's a scary internet out there, so Twitter's it for me. But yeah, you can find me there at Quint Says.
We can very much relate to being afraid of social media. I know the feeling.
Oh no, Quint, you're buying Pokemon cards? What are you doing?
Oh no, don't.
What are you doing?
I've got an addiction. It's bad.
We did not give you money so that you could spend it on Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Hey guys, do you need another piece doing? I'm gonna fund my new addiction.
You haven't been involved in any Pokemon card riots?
There have been Pokemon card riots.
I've listened to the Giant Bombcast, and they were talking about how in the States, Pokemon cards were now locked up in cabinets, the same as like razors and stuff, and people were fighting in stores over packs of cards and generally being terrifying.
Nah, I never did that. I don't know what you're on about. No, not me. This has spawned in the last couple of days, and it's getting out of hand quite quickly.
We wish you the best of luck.
Come get a Halo commission so I can buy more children's cardboard.
That's better than what most people might be spending their money on for it. So I think you're okay. You're okay, Quint.
Well, on that note, we will go before we get any further down the nerdy hole here. Once again, Quint, thank you very much for joining us. As I said, we just wanted to have you on and have a chat because you've done some awesome art for us and we very much appreciate it. And we should in the next while be due another Patreon commission, so that'll be exciting. We get another one in a while. One of our many goals, if you would like to become a patron, go to patreon.com/Halo Podcast Evolved, and you can get access to the art as well, and Christmas cards and other beautiful things, which is always good. Right, well, on that note, we will not keep you any longer. I have been your host, Aaron. You can find everything you need at the website, halopodcastevolved.com. And until next time, evolved.
Evolved.